also Kosei-kai International. Thank you very much indeed for watching this video again. This month, we received a Dharma talk titled Being Grateful for Nature. It reminded me of the old words of gratitude before meals. I quoted in the previous month issue, reciting the words as a habit before each meal or repeating them out loud when participating in training session with young fellow Sangha seems to be a handy way of engraving them deeply in our hearts. As we can see from the fact that the teachings finally sink into our hearts through daily chanting, it is not as easy as we think to understand the truth. Well, it is indisputable that we all live our lives receiving the blessing of all nature. However, the answer is doubtful when asked how much we recognize this blessing daily. It is one thing to know things as knowledge, but it is another to have it penetrate our way of life and beliefs. For example, how would you answer a question like the following? What kind of training should you do every day to ensure you can learn the truth of all things are true and all things are following the truth? A concept that all things are phenomena reflect the truth that Buddha recognized after his ascetic practices. What kind of answer would you give? While observing the true nature of all things, we all also observe the phenomena that manifest as they are. This way of observing things means discerning the true nature of all things. To understand the meaning of all the phenomena occurring in this world, we need wisdom to discern the true nature of phenomena. This is what we call Buddha's wisdom. At the New Year's memorial service last year, the President gave a Dharma talk in memory of the victims of the Noto Peninsula earthquake that occurred on New Year's Day 2024. I know you remember it. Magnitude 7.6, more than 500 people died, more than 1,400 people were injured or went missing. Now it has been over a year, but there's still no clear idea of when the recovery of the private houses and the shopping streets that were destroyed, collapsed, or burned down will be completed. Many people eagerly await the revival of the traditional Japanese crafts such as lacquer ware. On January 7, 2024, about a week after the earthquake, the President gave a Dharma talk in which he prayed for the souls of the disaster's victims and the precious lives that has been lost. Then he spoke about the earthquake, saying, I would like to think about the earthquake with you all. I felt this talk was related to discerning the reality of all things. The talk develops while quoting a book by theological physicist Dr. Haruo Saji entitled Time Theory for 14-year-olds. It goes like the following. For those of us living on Earth, earthquakes are natural phenomena always with us. Earthquakes are natural phenomena that has the potential to occur at any time and in any place. Of course, earthquakes are disaster that bring immeasurable fear to humanity. However, you may be surprised to hear that it is because of the earthquakes that humanity came into being. It is true. The story progresses in a way that is like talking to a young 14-year-old boy or girl with a gentle touch that arouses their interest. A long time ago, a massive earthquake hit Africa, moving the earth plates and creating mountains and the plains. The hill creates clouds which brings rain and create rich forests, savanna, tropical grasslands where trees cannot grow, form on the plains, and our ancestors who lived there evolved to the bipedal to protect themselves. being able to use both hands allow tools to develop. Having the head on top of the spine made it possible to have a large, heavy brain. This was progress towards thinking humans. Also, by standing up and living, and the structure of the throat extends downwards. This is the effect of the Earth's gravitational force. Human can make various sounds. This is the development of the voice. The way of language has been opened. This is a rough introduction to the essential quotation. But I want to point out that earthquakes have been a factor in human evolution, although the phenomenon has undoubtedly brought about the sad and painful disasters. When it comes to the essential issue, we can also see the essence of earthquakes, which have a great relationship with human progress. As always, this comes down to the question of phenomena and its essence. But the founder once gave us a Dharma talk on disease. In recent years, we have just experienced the COVID-19 infection, which has shaken society and traditional social customs for 5 years. The founder quoted the story of infectious diseases in a new interpretation of the Lotus Sutra published 16 years ago, and gave us a talk that also appeals to us who live in the present day 60 years later. I will quote some of it. Bacteria cannot be said to be the only direct cause of disease. There is always a dynamic balance between pathogenic microorganisms and humans, animals, and plants. This balance is created by many factors that cannot exhaustively analyzed, such as weather, working conditions, economic conditions, and people's mental states. Disease is a state in which this balance is broken. Over these past centuries, diseases like leprosy, plague, syphilis, smallpox, and tuberculosis have come into gone, but this is not only because of advances in medicine, but because coexistence between humans and the pathogenic microorganism was established before that. The founder of Kosei-kai phrased this way of thinking as one of the approaches, the wisdom of Buddha. He said, there is always a balance between pathogenic microorganisms, germs, and humans, and between pathogenic organisms and plants and animals. If that balance is broken, the disease will spread out. Eventually, a coexistence relationship will be established through adaptation, and the balance will be restored. In other words, there is excellent harmony if you look at it from a broad perspective. The fact that this is a dynamic state of great harmony is exactly what Buddhism teaches in its concept, that all things are impermanent, all things are without self, and Nirvana is the ultimate state of peace. While changing, they relate to each other, and while relating to each other, they achieve the next change. And with this, within this, they create the next state of harmony. We can see that the world is unfolding exactly as the Dharma teaches. I want to add an interesting story regarding phenomena and its essence that I found in a newspaper column on January 7th this year. Do you happen to know that the science fiction writer named Shinichi Hoshi? He passed away about 30 years ago, but he was my favorite writer in my high school years. I read many of his articles with great enthusiasm. Shinichi Hoshi, who loved to surprise people, often wrote the following words on his New Year's greeting cards to his friends. Let's set off on another 940 million kilometer space trip this year too. This is the total distance that the Earth travels in 1 year as it orbits the Sun while rotating on its axis. In addition, the speed of the spaceship Earth is to 29.7 km per second. It is said to be around Mach 90. Even at such high speed, the safety of Earth is infinite. This is because the Earth has been moving in the same orbit for 4.5 billion years, which is the basis for guaranteeing its safety. It's hard to believe that the Earth is spinning at such a speed, but it made me think again about how our lives and the sensitivities are nurtured through the cycle of 4 seasons. The question at the beginning of this article was, what kind of training can help us to realize the truth of all things? And I thought the answer to this question might be to become someone who can be grateful for everything other than oneself, as we confirmed with the word of gratitude before meals, by re-examining the fact that we are alive and living in the environment in which we find ourselves while thinking about phenomenology and essence concerning the phenomena in our everyday lives, such as earthquakes and disease. To develop sensitivity and intelligence that allows you to see reality as it unfolds before you without inserting your own ego-centered opinions. Finally, in March, the month in which Kosei-kai was founded, we should at least return the heart of the founder and the co-founder and try to live our lives with a peaceful and harmonious mind, like nature, instead of a crypt and a poisoned mind like those of the 3 poisons: greedy mind, anger, stupidity, and disasters. I want to make this month a month to be conscious of the best practice of all in harmony and serenity like Mother Nature. Being in touch with ourselves is not selfish and self-indulgent, but creating unbiased, compassionate, round-minded self. As the President always mentioned, it is a matter of diligence and devotion. Well, that's all for this month. I hope you enjoyed this program, so see you again next month on this channel. Thank you very much. Bye for now.